guys, welcome back. So we are doing an extra digest on Arsenal specifically. So we were doing Liverpool the last time. Now we're narrowing it down with Arsenal, and because we have had a lot of issues, and there's no better person to discuss with right now than my Bridget. Buddha,
Let's go.
How are you doing, bro?
Yeah, Yash, I'm good, bro. I can't complain. Apart from obviously Arsenal stuttering Kidogo, but yeah, man, glad to be here, man. Thanks for inviting me.
It's a pleasure to have you on board. So, I don't know where to start with Arsenal. Let's just dive in. I don't know where to start with Arsenal because we have so many issues right now. But if you are to summarize our performance so far this season, how would you summarize it?
Man,
8 games into the season.
Yeah, 8 games into the season. I honestly thought we were in a more advanced level in terms of our progression. However, the last few games, especially the Aston Villa game, have kind of maybe, opened the curtains, let the light in, and that Arteta still has a lot of work to do. However, if I remember I was asked on Premier League TV what I would give our season so far as a rating. I'd say a 6 so far.
6 out of 10. All right. Not that bad and not that great either. Just number 2.
Yeah. And the thing is, why I say 6 and not 5 is because we've had good performances. Even though we lost in some of the big games, we had good performances. We competed. Before, man, you know how it was whenever we played the big teams. Tuna, Piguam, it was just...
Yeah, like crazy.
We never competed. We never competed. We always showed way too much respect to some of these big teams when we could have just, played.
Like for me, it's been a crazy one. Because for me, we started off with Fulham. So I thought Fulham 3-0, a good score. Ukipata wanyonge Premier League, piga. And we did exactly that. And Gabriel was our best performer in that game. Willian, our new signings were hitting, the ground running. I was like, this is it. All right. Now, after that, we went to West Ham, or we played against West Ham. Walitusumbua, but, we still scrapped out the 3 points. So I thought, kuna grit hapa kwa hii squad, And then there was the way Gabriel handled Antonio Michael, because Michael Antonio, he handled him a good one, So I was like, this is it. Kwara defender Sana Chocha. So then after that, of course, now it's when we are going to face Man City. So I was like, okay, this is going to be a hard one. I just hope we don't get walloped. Like we always get slapped at Etihad. So we went there, we won 1 and we lost 1-0. I was like, okay, 1-0, not bad. I think after that is when we played Liverpool. We got beat 3-1, which I felt like kind of flattered them kidogo. But, with our 2 performances at Etihad and Anfield, I was feeling like, this is it. We are on a good turn right now. We are headed somewhere. And then we played Leicester City, and they slapped us. And then we went to Manchester United, and I was like, okay. So we're going to, write off all the wrongs we did against Leicester City with Manchester United. And then we did exactly that. Performance in top-notch, and you can't complain about anything.
Yeah.
Then Aston Villa wanted to slap 3-0 at home. As in, it just made me forget every progress you had made since that point in time.
Well, don't be that down on the team, especially as because I feel sorry for not football fans, Arsenal fans rather, because for such a long time we've had it so rough. I think ever since maybe 2012, 2013, we've had it really rough, and we never really challenged for the league apart from I think the 2013 when did Ramsey had that stellar Leicester? No, 2015-2016 season we should have won the league.
Oh yeah.
So for such a long time we've been struggling, and it's easy to kind of just throw your toys out of the pram and then go like, this is typical Arsenal. What the hell, man?
Yeah.
But I think out of all those games that you mentioned, and just a quick correction, it was actually Liverpool, then eventually we played Man City.
Oh, okay.
But but out of all those games, the game that worried me the most was definitely the Aston Villa game. And it wasn't just because of the scoreline. Obviously Aston Villa losing to Aston Villa 3-0 at home. Someone can easily say, it's terrible, but someone can easily say that Leicester was a better game because we only lost 1-0. But that's the scoreline isn't the dictating factor there, or the deciding factor there rather. The scoreline against Aston Villa, even if we lost 1-0 against Aston Villa, the performance was what was so worrying, because against Leicester, it was almost as if Arsene Wenger was the one on the touchline, Pale, to concede 1 shot, and the first shot that was on target. It was so typical of an Arsenal performance that it just made me think to myself, yeah, this is going to take a bit of time to get out of our system. You remember what Jose Mourinho said about Tottenham just a few weeks back? He said Tottenham is, it's still going to take some time to get that mentality out of Tottenham. They're Kidogo butlers, we know them.
What you call butlers mentality? What
Yeah. So, they're bottling production all the time. So it's going to take some time, right? But the Aston Villa one is the one that was so worrying, because if we don't have creativity, that's something we know we've always needed. We've discussed this, you and I, before. We remember when we had to choose between, or rather we were deciding who we would choose first.
Yeah.
We prioritized between Awar and Partey.
Yeah.
And I kept banging on about Awar, right?
Yeah.
But that kind of performance was so different from what we know of this Arsenal team under Arteta, that it was very concerning. It was very worrying, because hata kama hatuna creativity, at least defensive solidity tuko nayo.
Yeah.
You always get these stats, and a lot of people have mentioned that we've conceded the fewest amount of goals before Aston Villa, but that wasn't a telling stat, because the season isn't over.
Yeah.
So and we still haven't played all the games. Until we play all the games, you can't have an let's just say definite statement where you say this is an Arsenal team that has improved their defense. The more telling stat was the fact that we weren't conceding 31 shots per game or 25 shots like the way we did against with Unai Emery,
Yes.
And also there was the stat that I'm sure you've seen. At some point out of the first 31 games of Arteta, we'd conceded either one goal or kept a clean sheet in 25 of those 31 games. So you could tell we weren't conceding goals, and we weren't conceding and when we do, it's only one. So it was very frustrating to see that kind of performance, because now even with defense, even our defensive solidity wasn't there.
Yeah.
We had 7 men inside our box and still managed to concede, and we had 10 men at some point behind the ball and still managed to get done on Bellerin's side of the pitch. And it was just so disappointing, because now we're chasing the game, and even when we were chasing the game, they didn't seem to have that drive that you usually know
Arteta to make some changes in the scoreline. Yeah,
exactly. So that was what was so worrying, and I think Arteta kind of pointed that out. He was like, I saw a side of this Arsenal team that I hadn't seen in training before. Nothing. Yeah. And it was, I really hope it's the outlier, because everything else has been exactly what Arteta said. We're going to be defensively organized. We're going to work hard. The non-negotiables are going to be demanded out of all these players. And you could see everybody under Arteta was playing well, man. And then he came back from Turkey in a similar way to how Coquelin came back from Charlton, or I can't remember where he came from, the Championship. Remember how Coquelin was sent on loan? Yeah, and then he came back and he bossed it.
Yes.
We obviously signed Thomas Partey. Gabriel was killing it. All these players, Bellerin was getting his form back up. So the only question of Arteta was the creativity. That's all that we needed to fix.
Yeah.
But then suddenly Aston Villa, oh my days.
It's just like expounded our problems in terms of creativity and moving forward.
It really did.
When you look at how Jack Grealish was bossing his man, you're gonna boss your mid like crazy. He's like exactly what we don't have.
We need. Exactly. There was a time he was running at the box na Bellerin akaja, yani kujaribu kuchukua ball. The guy just alimshtua moja hivi, man was sent, bro.
Yeah. Actually, that move was, I think, also in the counter-attack that they had against us, when I think only Watkins scored, I think, that goal. Alifanya the same against Bellerin, if that's not the one you're talking about. He just bounced him off of him, and he went on to set up Watkins for the goal. It's crazy.
Yeah, so it's just and then you saw Kieran Tierney, Maze. Uliona hizo videos. Yani everything of that performance, you say, ilikuwa completely uncharacteristic of us. I've never seen Kieran Tierney fumble for the ball.
The way he did. Actually, that was in the first half. That was in the first half on a fumble level. That's terrible.
Alafu, what was also concerning, Maze, is Sawa, the first goal, technically speaking, and by the law, it's offside. The one we conceded against McGinn.
Mhm.
Now, whether you believe that if the player wasn't in front of Leno, he would have saved it. That's
Yeah.
up to you. I don't believe he would have saved it. I don't even believe. I don't believe he would have saved it even if he stood on the post. Hata angesimama kwa hiyo post, hiyo
Bado
ball bado inaingia. Alichapa Magin alichapa kusema kweli.
yeah,
But
true.
that should have been a warning sign. At the
Yeah.
very least, that should have been a massive warning sign because Partey and Neni were around Magin. We had so many players in the box, and yet they still managed to get a shot away. Okay, that should have been a warning sign first and foremost for the players, and then obviously secondly for the manager. But in that moment in time, I wondered how important it is to have that massive leader. I feel like if David Luiz was on the pitch at the time, he would have seen what was happening around him. Angechangamsha watu.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Also, I feel like the defending that was being done at that point in time, because Mseka Willian alikuwa capable of kuachilia Barkley. Yendi aliachilia Barkley was supposed to be covering him. And then hizo vitu Rob Holding alikuwa anafanya ni kama stories of boxing. As in, how many times was it? He actually did that almost like 7 times. I'm like, bro, when he defended, sure, he was going to fire shit like 7 times. He has to be doing better than that.
Ata kama you dive in, at least force the guy to go somewhere. You know? Make him move. Jamaa alikuwa anashtua, anajienjoy. It reminded me of Ronaldo versus that right back. That Coyle brother, I can't remember who it was. Remember pale Old Trafford zamani? Cristiano, akishtua, akifanya zile madoido.
Akitenda mso Arsenal. Alikuwa anaitwa Joe Boy.
Coyle, something Coyle.
Oh yeah.
Something Coyle. Doesn't matter. The point is it was just shambolic from us. You see, the Leicester one, if you look at it, you go like, okay, we had 11 shots. They scored from the very first shot on target that they had. And we failed to create good clear-cut chances because the ones we created were difficult to score. And then obviously Lacazette was struggling. So it was a little harsh. And I just thought, okay, if we have a creative midfielder, tunge contain wase kwa box yao, kwa defensive side yao, alafu we would have just continued passing the ball around and continue creating chance after chance after chance. And that's the kind of Arsenal team you want to see. But then the way we conceded was like, at least you can see it's because we don't have that creative midfielder. It's because Arteta isn't yet comfortable moving to that back four. You can rationalize it. But that defeat against Aston Villa, you can't rationalize it.
You cannot at all. There's absolutely no way of rationalizing that. No way. Let me ask you, do you think Lacazette has been poor because generally he's just been poor, or generally because we don't have like a proper creative midfielder who can maybe give him good supply of balls? What is your opinion on Lacazette's poor performance because he's been poor?
Okay, well, let me cover a few things because they're very closely related, obviously, okay? I think Lacazette's form, the same can be said of Willian, who I know can deliver much more, who can do much more. The same can be said of Pepe, who can do much more on a more consistent basis, or should be doing much more. The same could be said of Aubameyang. The same could be said of Saka. The same could be said of Ceballos. The whole team, from an attacking point of view, is struggling so much that I think Lacazette is the one that suffers the most because he's the one who gets the most chances. And that's because he's a striker. Now, when it comes to Lacazette, right? Unajua, as a footballer, and I played football quite regularly. Did you play football quite regularly in your youth?
Not exactly. Not
really? Okay.
Anything professional in it.
Okay. Milic is at least semi-pro level, okay? Something I know for sure is if you create goal-scoring opportunities more frequently, players not only have a higher chance of scoring, because that's just the rule of probability, right? The law of averages, let's just say, right? If you create more chances, the player has a higher probability of scoring more goals. However, from a footballing and a technical point of view, a striker needs to be put through on goal or given more chances on goal because it's like a rhythm. Ni kama kila saa mkiambiwa mao practice makes perfect. But now if a player doesn't get these chances and they come so few and far in between, I love for someone like Lacazette is, you've seen his average position online. You've seen those statistics. Everybody has access to those statistics. His average position is somewhere down the middle of the pitch. That's not where you want your striker to be, because if a striker is in that position, he's constantly making long runs. Sindio?
Yep.
Anarudi deep sana, kuwin ball, kuhold ball, alafu mwende akimbia tena ingia position, goal scoring positions.
Yeah.
By the time he enters there, first of all, he hasn't had that frequency, which is extremely important. And the second thing is fatigue. Because by the time, you see, gone are the days, rather, in Arsenal, where we create 4 or 5 opportunities in the first 10 minutes. Natayari to go 2-0 up. Those days are long gone.
Yeah.
And that's something Arteta needs to create. But now, in the same time, qua system pia, everybody is so far apart. There's so many. There's such a distance between Lacazette and the midfielders, Kinaparte Elneny. There's a distance between Willian and Lacazette. There's a distance between Lacazette and Aubameyang. And because of those distances, we don't find ourselves in dangerous positions enough times. That's our problem. How many times do you see Elneny and Partey hold the ball at the edge of the box? Hakuna msee anakam. Hakuna msee ana make run. Because even if someone does make a run, there's so many players in between Thomas Partey and Elneny, and so many players in between those two and Lacazette. Yeah. So someone makes the run, but if there's so many players in between those 3 players, right? Lacazette, Thomas Partey, and Elneny, of course itapokonyo.
Yeah. More often than
not. The ball is going to be taken away. Yeah, more often than not. And also, because there's nobody coming in behind or in between those lines, you can't create chaos. That's what, for example, someone like Joe Willock has done in the Europa League. He's either in between the center backs, or in between the full backs and the center backs, or in between the midfielders and the center backs and the back line. When you do that, you have options to link up. Muna bounce ball off each other. You have time. You create havoc. People lose markers. People chase the wrong players.
Yeah.
Right now, we don't do that.
Do you think it's high time we started introducing guys like Joe Willock into the starting lineup now? I mean, he's been doing quite well in the Europa League. Do you think maybe he can do something in the mid?
I say yes, and it's not because I think he's the answer to all of our problems. I'm not saying that. He's also quite young, so he's learning as he goes. But he's the only kind of player at Arsenal right now, the kind of midfielder rather, who makes these deep late runs from midfield.
Yeah.
He gives you those vibes. That means when Lacazette has an opportunity, atakama atakosa, Joe Willock is making a run because he's following up. If Lacazette receives the ball, he can even give a pass because someone's making the run off of him. Lakini sasa hivi aka-receive ball, who's coming? Nobody.
Let me ask you.
Elneny is not that kind of player. Partey is not that kind of player.
Yeah. Do you think Dani Ceballos can play the same kind of role, at Arsenal in terms of running from deep and going to attacking positions? Because I feel like of all the guys who we have, he seems like one of the guys who have some creative abilities in him. He can be a bit creative. So why is he not being played in any advanced, maybe attacking position yet? As in, we know he can do bits there.
I think I understand what you're saying, especially if you consider some of the goals that he scored. Okay, he hasn't scored many goals.
Yeah.
But for example, you remember the goal he scored in the FA Cup quarterfinal against Sheffield United?
Yes.
Last minute. Those kind of runs, you don't see him do them enough. And I think it's because he's like Xhaka in a way. He likes the ball. He likes seeing everything in front of him. Hapendi kuana mgongo on the defenders or on the defensive, on the opposing team. Kama Xhaka, he can't play in between the lines. Someone like Ceballos, in as much as he's done it and he has good passes, I don't think he does it anywhere near enough for me to think that's a strong characteristic of his. Someone who can do it is Saka. Someone who also can do it is Willian. Joe Willock can do it. Pepe can do it. We just don't get enough players around the box close enough together, and that's why we struggle, I think.
Let me ask you, do you think of one of the things that Arteta will have to do, because he'll have to make some changes? I mean, it's kind of obvious he'll have to make some changes after the deplorable performance against Aston Villa. Do you feel like one of the things he has to do maybe is drop Lacazette and even maybe drop Willian? And in your own opinion, do you think maybe should we drop Willian, or should we maybe move him to the middle of the park where he can maybe play as that attacking midfielder for us while you put in Pepe on the right wing?
Well, I don't mind what happens with Willian. If he's benched, if we're changing the system, maybe
Yeah.
we'll do more. To be honest, no, it's because I want to see Pepe play.
Mm.
Pepe, for example, he was brought in for the amount of money that he was brought in. It's not his fault. But then towards the end of last season, akaanza kucheza vipoa sana.
Yeah.
He showed a bit of consistency. He had a strong impact on some of the big games that we played, especially in that FA Cup run.
Yep.
Now, for him, I feel bad for him because he has that kind of consistency now. He's showing that kind of desire and the consistency on the pitch over 90 minutes. And he's actually making an impact. He's not losing the ball as much. Alafu, in the summer, we make a big deal out of signing Willian, who plays in exactly the same position as him.
Yeah.
So I felt really bad for him. But now, in terms of what we need to do, I honestly don't care about the personnel. What's more important to me is the distances between the players in whatever system we play. Nisawa, you can play a 3-4-3, by the way, but keep it narrow. If you keep it narrow, you're shortening the distances between the players.
Yeah.
What does that mean? You increase the amount of chances to the frequency with which they link up. Sindio?
Yeah.
If we play a 3-4-3, sawa, I don't care. Bora tukue pamoja, karibu, tukaribiane. In the same way, though, I'd rather we move to a back four and play a 4-3-3. Why I say that is because I strongly believe Xhaka would be amazing, not just good. He would be amazing in the base of that holding midfield role, in the same way that Busquets used to be for Barcelona. So, yeah. And if we play Partey and Elneny or Partey Willian or Partey Ceballos, I don't care. Bora ni Partey na mtu. So, they're gonna be if they're in a more advanced role, not necessarily a holding midfield role. Automatically, watamkaribia Lacazette, watamkaribia Aubameyang, watamkaribia Willian, watamkaribia Pepe. There'll just be more opportunities to link up and cause chaos. Yeah. That's what I want to see happen now, because especially what baffles me with Arteta is he came from a team that only used the 4-3-3.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of people, they only ever used the 4-3-3. Yeah, they changed up on Apale. It was dynamic, but that's what it was. So that's what I want to see now. I'm really exhausted with the 3-4-3. I'm getting frustrated even.
Yeah.
Because I know it's limiting what Arteta can do. It's limiting what this Arsenal team can do. And I hope these 2 weeks rather, have been good for Arteta in that him and his coaching staff go back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
Usually what you want to do is, if you have a strong system, you don't want to lose because of the banter before the international break. Ita marinate san, ita ka. Lakini in the way that we're losing, it's festering. It's actually festering. Inatoa pras, inatoa uchafu. That's the kind of shit that we're going through right now. I hope you don't mind my French. But ukweli, what I'm seeing, when we were losing to Aston Villa, I'm watching us lose. I'm thinking to myself, guy, say tunaingia
break.
The break. Watu watarudi. Yeah, banter. First of all, that's the first and foremost thing, especially for us Arsenal fans.
Yeah.
Hatupendwi. Second of all, watu watarudi na international break. Utasikia stories of COVID, stories of injuries. There'll be a disruption in our formation and our style of play. So you won't even see a true representation. So you'll have to wait to see Arteta implement this new style that we hope he will. But now that I'm thinking about it, and I've been thinking about it for the last week or so, it's a good thing only if Arteta actually changes things up. If he doesn't change things up, then we have a problem. And you see, regardless of what people try and defend him with, a lot of people try and defend him with the stories we need new players like Dominic Soboslai and Hussein Mawar. I'm like, that's all well and good, but if the system isn't functional, those players will also seem dysfunctional. So Arteta needs to get the system right, because we don't have time to play catch up. I know we're only about 6 points off top number one, and that's not our target, but we're only a few points off, top four. We need to stay within touching distance.
Yes.
And right now unaona game zetu zitakuwa Leeds, kuna Tottenham, Wolves, Southampton, guys like Burnley, who are traditionally tough teams for us to play. So it's gonna be a tricky fixture list, and we need to get the system running from now. We can't play against Leeds and go like, enyewe tumeblanda hapo, because we can't afford to drop points against Leeds. We can't afford to drop any more points. We're already behind, and we need to stay within touching distance.
Yeah, because we've already lost 4 games already, and to go just get 8 games in. It's terrible. Like after the international break, we just have to hit the ground running, and it's quite crazy because this now is like a marathon of matches. Because there's no break till when? March next year. So utacheza Carabao Cup hapo, FA Cup hapo, utacheza Europa League hapo, ucheze Premier League. It's gonna be chaotic.
Christmas
if you don't
period,
get a system right from now on, I don't know, you might never recover.
Yeah, you might never recover, and then the season is going to be you're going to have to write it off.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we need to make Champions League. There's just no other option. Simple as. If it's hata kama tushinda Europa League tuingie sawa. But the thing is, by hook or by crook, we need to enter the Champions League. That's simple as. Ideally speaking, you want to shut up the critics. You want to shut them out. You want to tell them, shut the hell up. Unataka unyamazishe watu.
Yes.
At the same time, you want to make sure that you have a natural progression into the Champions League, because a Europa League qualification into the Champions League is not a natural progression. United and Chelsea qualified for the Champions League through the league. If United had bought Sancho, I would have considered them title contenders. Chelsea are looking very strong right now, in my opinion, are title contenders. But that's because they had a natural progression into the Champions League. You get?
Yeah.
Because if you make the Champions League, you're only saying good things. It might not be the whole truth, but you're only saying good things about your team and how you're progressing as a squad and as you're under your new manager. So that's why, in my opinion, like we need to put in these we need to put in a run, a consistent run of games where we're not dropping any more points. Nobody else is
W's, just winning.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I'm hopeful still. Of course, I'm hopeful. I believe in my manager. Si ati nimemgeukia. Nah. I'm actually quite disappointed in many fans around my own circle of friends, around my
who are paying for Arteta's head.
I wouldn't say they're just vying for Arteta's head. Nobody's really shouting Arteta out, but hizi doubts zinaingia na. Where were these doubts when we were winning? Where were these doubts when Aubameyang was performing? When
when we beat Manchester United.
Yeah, when we beat, just last week, just a few weeks ago. 2 weeks ago when we beat Manchester United. So it's like let's have a bit more faith. Let's have a bit more faith, and whether you like it or not, this is going to be a process that's going to take more than just this season. Itakuwa hadi next season pia. It's
going to be like a battle process of like gradual growth, because we just can't jump from one place all the way to the next one. We can't do that. No, I got like 8 minutes, so I'm gonna put you quickly through some quick questions.
Let's go, man.
Keep it brief with these ones. Just very easy questions. Like in the transfer market, we have to sign someone, most definitely, maybe an attacking mid. Now we've been linked with Slobo Sislai and Awa. If you are to pick one, I understand you want both of them, right?
Yeah, I do want both.
Yeah, if you had to pick one, who would you go for and why?
I'd still go for Houssam Aouar. First of all, because he's played in the Champions League. He's played against the top level teams, so we know he can do it against big teams. We know he can do it in the Premier League. For me, you can do it in the Champions League. You can do it in the Premier League. It's just a matter of getting your intensity. Another reason why I want Aouar is because I feel like the number 8 is more important than the number 10 player. And Dominic Szoboszlai right now is a number 10.
Yeah.
However, I think it's going to be a war. Because there's 2 pages I follow very, very, very loyally right now. The first one is AFC Bell. You know, I've been talking about AFC Bell, Tangu. Right now they have 105K followers. In June they had 20K followers. I was the only one banging on about AFC Bell. Mina se mahawa se. They're typing in Arabic, and I just have a sense they might be onto something. Sasa, kuna page nyingine ilitoa post 22nd October. You can check them out on Twitter. They're called Indicala News. I can send it to you so that you can post it as well, share it with your platform. They posted on 22nd October, Okasema, these guys, Arsenal have had high-level meetings with Lyon, and it looks like they're very confident of signing Aouar in January. Alafu sasa, AFC Bell wakatoa tweet pia, wakasema, we're going to update you guys later this week with interesting transfer news of someone we know, and we're going to mention the name this week. So I have a strong feeling it's going to be Aouar more than Dominic Szoboszlai.
I hope it's going to be one of those guys, because I don't expect us to be looking for anything else apart from an attacking need right now. So
who would you choose?
Ooh, good one. You know what? Lately I've come to warm my heart to Szoboszlai. Actually, that's how they're supposed to pronounce it there.
That's how it's Szoboszlai.
Szoboszlai, but I don't know. I'll be okay with either.
I'd be extremely happy with either. Extremely happy.
Extremely. Give me quickly your thoughts on Saliba. Because for me, I absolutely love Saliba. I don't know. I understand, of course, the issues he's been going through, but what are your thoughts?
It's such a weird one, man, because first of all, obviously, and people are completely correct in saying this guy was bought by the previous administration, whether we like it or not.
Yeah, that's true.
He's not an Arteta signing.
Yeah.
And Arteta, you know, whenever you have a new manager, you never know if you're going to make it. Because
are you trying to say like he's going in that direction, like he's going to, like, I don't know, not really favor playing Saliba? Just because
I don't think so. I think what Arteta demands out of Saliba is possibly what, it's probably what he still thinks he needs to adapt to. And I think the most important thing, though, is the fact that, you know, this guy lost loved ones just a few months ago.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you don't know how it affects the player.
Yeah, you don't.
And you don't know what's happening behind the scenes. You don't know, first of all, if the kid's depressed. You don't know if because of his because of this tough period, he's not necessarily reacting well to the new coaching staff, or maybe the training methods. You don't know what could have happened. You don't know as well. You can't rule out that maybe because he was left out of the squad, Aka reacted badly, very, very badly.
Yeah.
And still, and maybe it's a disciplinary issue. You don't know. That's the thing. Ideally speaking, you'd like to think that you can trust the manager, right, to make the right decisions. However, it's difficult to do that when you see Saliba playing, and then you see his teammate Fofana killing it in the Premier League, right?
Yeah.
Killing it in the Premier League. Of course, like I mentioned, there's a reason why I mentioned that. It's because you don't know what the manager wants. Maybe it's easier for Fofana to play at Leicester under Brendan Rodgers because he demands things that he's used to.
Or things you're not
he
used
demands
to.
things that you're not used to as a player. As well, you have to think about how can Mustafi start ahead of Saliba? I mean, surely Saliba's not that bad.
He has to be above Mustafi in the pecking order. I mean,
especially when you consider there's been rumors that I don't fully believe, by the way. There's been rumors that we offered Mustafi a new deal. I don't believe them. There's no way. I don't believe that, by the way. Let me see. Because remember what happened just 2 years ago when we were told we only have 45 million to spend. Alafu we went and spent 72 million on Pepe. People make up these lies and it's for clickbait. So I wouldn't believe every single thing that happens on Twitter.
Yeah.
So I want to see Saliba play. I hope Ozil is brought back in the second part of the season. Yeah, I hope Ozil is brought back, at least a squad player, and I hope Saliba does enough between now and the January transfer window to convince Arteta that he can stay and contribute rather than to be sent out on loan again.
Out on loan,
so, yeah.
Honestly, I would be sad if he's sent out on loan. I think he can do bits for us. I don't see
anything
he can't offer that Fofana can offer.
Well, let me curb that a little bit, because if you think about it, remember we overpaid for Pepe.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a very strong chance we also overpaid for Saliba. Yeah, there's a very strong chance that we overpaid for Saliba. And that's the thing, you see. We don't know because, well, Raul Sanllehi was sacked. They'd like to say it's part of a streamlining process. Lakini kuna some gray areas. And that's why we brought someone like Tim Lewis. Tim Lewis. You've heard of him?
Tim Lewis? He's a contract negotiator?
Yeah, well, he's the right-hand man of Kina Stan Kroenke and his son. And he was brought back. Yeah, he was brought back. He was brought to Arsenal to look for inefficiencies, look for inconsistencies, and to just streamline the whole of the club. And that's why you saw the 55 people being sacked. You saw head of football Raul Sanllehi being sacked. You saw inquiries being made into the Pepe deal. Apparently, and apparently we were only meant to pay 40 million for Pepe, 45 million.
God.
So,
yeah,
so there's a high chance we overpaid for Saliba.
But I wouldn't think so, because I'm looking at Fofana. Fofana si alikuwa bought for almost the same 30M, right?
Similar amount, yeah.
Yeah, and you bought Saliba for 27 million. So I'm thinking, not unless Saliba is an understudy of, Fofana in terms of like quality-wise, I think they would be just about the same price.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I was waiting for Zoom it and shut down. Apparently, it's not doing that. So
nice. Okay, that's great.
Right. So I'm gonna go on. What do you think of Spurs?
Man, look, it's early days. Apart from being shit, yeah. I probably should have said that, because I think the only reason I didn't is because they look good, man. You can't deny they look good. You can't deny they look good. Yeah, in a new Diatamimi, because if you think about it, I'd like, I always console myself with Spurs thinking that they have a lot of injury-prone players, but now they have a bit of a spine that they've built. They've added this Højbjerg guy, who, in my opinion, is a great addition to their central midfield position. Fantastic position, yeah. And then they obviously have Gareth Bale, Harry Kane, and Son, and Mourinho's using Kane in a way that we haven't seen that much yet.
Yeah.
We knew that Harry Kane could do all this. I always knew Harry Kane could pass the ball like a central midfielder with left or right. I always knew he could drop deep and link up play. I always knew he could bang in from everywhere. We all knew this. But the frequency with which he's doing it now is what's really alarming.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm not making any judgments until match day 15. Kawaida, watu husema, all these pundits husema, the Premier League usually starts taking its traditional shape around the 10th match day. But I think because of COVID this season, we can maybe extend it an extra 5 games. Tuone watu wasettle. Yeah, tuone watu wasettle. So, and the thing is, Tottenham haven't played many big games, The big game that they won, in my opinion, against United was, a red card. Hawangeshi ndio game with that much of a scoreline, in my opinion. So, let's see. Wacha tuone. We're playing them soon. We're playing them quite soon.
Yeah, quite soon, actually. It's like 4 games after now.
Yeah. And Arteta's already lost. And Arteta's already lost the first London derby of his career. So I'm sure he doesn't want to lose the second one.
Yeah, I would like to think so. Who would you say, when everybody's fit, apart from Saliba, who would you say is the best partner for Gabriel moving to the season now? Because we kind of have to revert to a back four and all that stuff.
I think it's David Luiz.
Just give it to Luiz?
Yeah, I think it's David Luiz because of that organization. I remember against City when we played against City and he got injured. I don't want to talk about his creative stats because they were the best in that game for us, his long passes. But you saw many times he was the one stepping up to intercept the pass into the forward. Aguero alikuwa namfeel nyumake. Akiwa beba. Yeye, Sterling, na sijui nani. And I think that's because now they have a complementary partnership. When David Luiz steps up, Gabriel has the pace and the strength and the reach to cover for any loose runners in behind David Luiz if he makes a mistake. And I think that's what Gabriel allows David Luiz to do. He allows David Luiz to play without any with a bit more freedom. And as a mistimed challenge, lakini humseatam cover. In the same way that we had Koscielny and Mertesacker playing. Wakumbuka?
Yeah, almost the same way.
Yeah, Koscielny atakuwa anapanda, anasumbuana na strikers wale drop deep. Na Mertesacker would stay back. But now with Gabriel, obviously, with the added benefits is that he has a strong presence. He's good at interceptions. He's good at tackling.
Yeah.
He's good at wananawatu na uzito, lean on a man. Yeah. So
amazing.
So I think that. Yeah, I think it's David Luiz. I can't speak much about Saliba because we haven't seen him play.
Yeah.
But I really would like to try Saliba. Missy Jali. Siati, we're missing out on anything. David Luiz is just as error-prone as any other defender, so just try Saliba.
I was actually going to say, it kind of sounds, I don't know, I feel some type of way about it, but it's the reality though, but kind of feel some type of way saying that best partner for our best defender right now was our worst player last season.
It's so weird.
It's so weird. And terrible.
But that's the thing. I always knew this. I always knew that David Luiz couldn't be the let's say the defender that holds back, because that's not what he was at Chelsea. That's not what he was at PSG. Yani, akuna bidii anataka kuingia na challenge. He makes fouls in the middle of the pitch. He commits. He's the one who usually defends on the front foot. That's what people like to call it.
Yeah.
Defend on the front foot, whereas Gabriel can do both. Can do both. So
he can do both.
I want to see David Luiz and Gabriel more often, and I hope David Luiz ananza next game. So let's see.
Against Leeds, we're gonna need the both of them to be fit and to be at their best.
Wow.
Your game itakuwa crazy.
Bamford atuchezee msee.
All right. What have I not asked you? What about our midfield conundrum? I think you've already said you'd want to see Xhaka and Partey. That's like the best the partnership you'd like.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter how I see them. It doesn't matter if they're in a 3 like this or in a 4-2-3-1. I don't care.
Yeah.
Bora Xhaka akwe the deepest lying midfielder, Partey and whoever's in front of him, or Partey and his midfield partner, not Xhaka, the other one, the number 8. They're allowed to express themselves a bit more as Xhaka holds.
Yeah.
You get? In a similar way to Xavi Iniesta, Xhaka akwe Busquets, Xavi Iniesta can be Partey, whoever. I'm not comparing. We're not comparing. Please don't take my words out of context, because that's how the internet does it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying in those positions, I'd like to see Partey with either Ceballos. I think I'd choose Ceballos. But I wouldn't mind El Neni. I wouldn't mind even Joe Willock.
Oh, Joe Willock, yeah. Joe Willock can also do that bit,
Yeah,
agreed. Yeah. All right. And then, of course, there are some guys who we've wanted to see for some time now, like guys like Chris Nelson. He's come in, Kidogo, Pali Europa, done quite well, and then he's gone off. What do you think about his Nelson? Maybe should we now start seeing him more often? Should we even maybe Kidogo tunaona Saka na kula bench and tuone his Nelson akianza atacheza aje? Or what do you think exactly about him?
No, I'm actually quite excited about Reece Nelson, man, because I feel like he's growing under Arteta Pole Pole. I remember my main criticism about Reece Nelson around Unai Emery's time and around Arsene Wenger's time is that you never really saw him trying to take on players. Kila saa unasikia story, mjamaa alikuwa anachinga watu wanane wa 9 in one go pale under 16s, under 20s, nini. Lakini akipata ball pale Premier League ama in the Europa League ama Carabao Cup ama FA Cup, you don't see him. Yeah, you see him just pass the ball to the side, not really trying to express himself. But now under Arteta, you're seeing that more and more often. You saw him dribble past players in the Europa League.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I stand with him and Willock. I want to see them start in the Premier League rather, because I want to see them try. I want to see them try things that the other players simply aren't doing.
Yeah.
Me spendi kuona winga haizi chenga msee 1v1. I hate that.
I hate someone on, like, take a defender on, have a go at him.
Yeah, mchenge, mweke chobo, mvalishe kanzu, fanye kitu bro, yani cause havoc.
Yeah.
Lakini sasa when you see Pepe sometimes, ana dilidali ni kama anajishuku. Willian hivyo hivyo. Aubameyang, obviously, he's not a dribbler.
Yeah.
But you'd like to see some proactivity, So Reece Nelson and Joe Willock, they show the most out of the rest of that squad.
Yeah.
So I really want to see them do that. And you see, I remember Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka, guys thought, this guy would be the next best winger in the world. But he's more of a creative player. He's not a dribbling kind of winger. He's more of a wide forward. What do you Kiziyech, yani?
Yeah.
He likes passing. He likes getting into those deep positions. He cuts inside. Now he links up the ball well. He's not like Martinelli. Martinelli akipata ball pale wing, Man, he wants to take you on. Anataka twende mbio. Tuone nani atashinda hii race.
Martinelli, Martinelli. I can't wait for him to come back, to be honest.
Neither can I, man. I can't
wait. Damn.
I can't wait, yeah.
You know what? It's still on Nelson. Kidogo, sometimes he gives me these Sterling vibes where I look at Sterling and how he plays. Sterling is not that guy who's going to dazzle you with how he dribbles and how he does the stuff. It's just like he likes like running at defenders real fast. Like he'll come directly at you real fast. And then he's quite clinical. So I feel like if Reece Nelson can perfect his running at defenders and add a bit of clinicality in his gameplay, ananipianga Sterling vibes, to be honest.
I hope he doesn't give you too many Sterling vibes, because Sterling misses chances like he's being paid to do it, Wallahi, that guy misses chances ni kama anafanya makusudi mse. Reece Nelson, what I know compared to Sterling is he has more skill. Raheem Sterling plays better when there's space in behind.
Yeah.
Raheem Sterling reminds me more of Walcott, but with a bit more skill. Reece Nelson gives me Jadon Sancho vibes more than Raheem Sterling. And Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho can mix it up, He can score goals, he can dribble, he can pass. I just hope, and the thing is with Reece Nelson, he's really young, so he still has another 3 years to really identify himself as a player, Yeah. So I'm still positive about Reece Nelson, but I hope he tries and takes advantage of this situation, because Willian's not doing it. Pepe's not doing it. He got an injury. He got an injury recently, so I hope he comes back from injury with the mentality that this position, Ikwapo, it's there for the taking,
Yeah.
I can definitely take it.
Both hands right now.
Yeah. And in the same way, for example, like Nketiah, I don't rate him still, I still don't rate him. He's a poaching striker. We need more than a poaching striker. Gone are the days of guys like Filippo Inzaghi, man, Narud Van Nistelrooy, But look at him, for example.
Yeah.
Lacazette has been performing so badly. What does it say of him that he can't bench Lacazette? You get what I mean? If I was Balogun right now, I'm hoping I can get more chances, because I can bench both of these guys, man.
Yeah, because you just have to do some work and score a lot of goals.
Exactly.
Wow. All right. Finally, two guys who have been quite polarizing in the last couple of weeks. Bellerin versus Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Give me your opinion on the two guys to start with.
I love both of them. I love both of them. It's very easy. Yeah, there's a but. There is a but.
Yeah.
There's a but for both, actually. Maitland Niles, he had amazing performances in the semi-final, in the final, even in the Community Shield. He won man of the match as well. I feel like what he struggles with most is concentration in the game, because Mjama atajipata in a very, very good position, and he's done well. He's actually done all the work to get himself in that good position. Yeah. But then he let himself down. This I saw in the England versus who did they play recently? Was it in the Belgium game or the one? Ireland, yeah.
Yes, Ireland.
Mjama, he worked the ball well. He linked up well at the edge of the box, pale kwa wing. And then he gets into a good crossing position. Akaituma kwa stance.
Pura.
Akapura. So I'm like, bro, you're a footballer. You're a footballer that's played professionally for many years. All you've done is train all your life.
Yeah.
Why should you allow yourself to cross the ball that way? Why should you allow yourself to lose the ball the way you did? Why should you allow yourself to miss pass the ball the way you did? And it doesn't make sense, because I can see he has technical quality and talent. Of course, he's talented. but it's clearly a lack of concentration, or, and I think it's more lack of concentration than this other option, or he gets caught in two minds, or too many minds, or he has
Or
too
what to
many
do with the
options.
ball in that situation.
Yeah, anajihangaisha. You get. So Maitland Niles, I want him to start, but he doesn't deserve to start because he's not consistent. He doesn't deserve to start. And the thing is, for someone like Bellerin, Bellerin does a lot of the right things well. He does the basic stuff well, and when he gets into more advanced positions, he does well as well. He does quite well. He passes the ball, he gets assists, he keeps it well, he defends well, he stops counterattacks. But then he also has lapses in concentration. For example, against Aston Villa. And I know this is consistent with, it's emblematic of the rest of the squad. It's everybody else was poor on the day as well.
Terrible in that game, yeah.
But how was McGinn allowed to run in from and Nini Mushapak bus tayari, and he still makes space? It's because Bellerin went to sleep, and he went to sleep when Andy Robertson scored against us at Anfield.
Yeah,
we won. He also went to sleep. He also went to sleep against Man City. He goes to sleep in weird moments, and more often than not we get punished. And he needs to cut that out. He needs to cut that out. So Bellerin still has some way to go, but I know for a fact that he's improving.
Yes.
You can see his pace is coming back.
Yeah.
You can see his technical qualities coming back. So give him time. That kind of injury, Maze, Kwanza, as for a player who is supposed to be quick, who's based on pace. A knee injury like that, a lot of the times players don't come back with the same pace. So you never know if he's going to recover. But thankfully, Bellerin is coming back to it. And I still think that he's suffering as well from Arsenal not doing well offensively speaking.
Then you can see more of him.
Yeah, hopefully we will see him improve as well.
Yeah, because I think he's also one of the guys who has created. Okay, yeah, and one of the guys who have created some chances for us. I think he has created some chances in the Premier League. Amekuwa created some things there. Atakaa tujakuwa tukifunga that much. It's only that even our highest scorer right now has how many goals? 3 or 4?
Yeah. It's Lacazette, man. It's Lacazette with 3.
Can you?
And he hasn't scored since end of September, my guy. It's embarrassing, bro. Oh,
you know what? Shit. On Niles' part, I even feel he's kind of fortunate to be called back to the England squad this time around. Because since the last time he played, and now, there's nothing he has done so far, like, you can say, like, he was wonderful for us. No. There's nothing he's done.
Yeah, I think he got chosen because Gareth Southgate is a bad manager. I don't rate Gareth Southgate, and he likes choosing these left wing backs and right wing backs who aren't necessarily natural left wing backs, like Saka and whatnot. Saka is deserved. So I don't know. I feel like Maitland Niles, he needs to do more. When he does get an opportunity, he doesn't do enough. So
yeah. All right. For him, it's unfortunate, man. But I just want it. Are you excited by the returning of Pablo Mari? Because he's coming back. I think he's gonna be coming back after this break.
I mean, what are we excited about? We haven't seen anything of him yet. If we'd seen, I mean. The only thing it does for me is that it increases the amount of centre backs we have.
Would you call him a proper centre back? Is this someone you can rely on? Even though I think only him in 2 games, I think, or 3.
Yeah, I think he's definitely someone you can rely on.
Better than Mustafi, right?
Yeah, of course. I'd rather him than Mustafi, bro. Mustafi, come on, man. Yeah.
All right.
Well,
all right. Fine. I think I'm getting down now. Give me, like, if you were to revert to a back 4, I know your right back would be Bellerin, right? Then Kieran on the left, and Gabriel and Luis as the centre backs, Bentley as the goalie, then Xhaka, you said, Partey and Ceballos. How would you like to see your attacking lineup?
Actually, I'd bench Lacazette. I'd bench Lacazette and put Aubameyang up top. I'd put Willian on the left and Pepe on the right. That would be my main formation. Why I go with that is because Saka can make a big difference coming off the bench. And the thing is, if we play in that formation, I truly believe if we play a midfield of Xhaka, Partey, Ceballos, and then they can link up with Willian and Pepe, they can create the kind of chances that Aubameyang needs when he plays up top.
Up top.
Because Aubameyang likes to play on the shoulder of the defenders.
Yeah.
So I think they'll be able to put him through on goal on a very regular basis. But if we have to drop one person out of that front three, my second option would be to keep Lacazette up top and put Aubameyang on the left wing, because whether people like it or not.
So you're dropping Willian or Pepe?
Yeah, Willian, for sure.
For sure. All right. I hope we see more of Pepe after this international break. I think we deserve to see more of him. He deserves a chance. Way better than some other guys right there. So, Chatuone Arteta to find his beat. What would you say should be our realistic ambitions this season? Zenye see overboard, they just, yes, you're ambitious club. If you're aspiring for that, you're ambition poor, but realistic at the same time.
Champions League. Hakuna kitu kama hiyo. Hakuna kitu kingine, bro. Ni
Champions League qualification.
Well, how many points are we off top for? I mean, honestly speaking, I'm just pulling up the Premier League table right now just to make sure I'm right. But if I'm not mistaken, Chelsea have 15 points and we have 12.
12 points.
Right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Chelsea have 15 points. Southampton have 16. So if we have 12, we're 4 points off top 4. So Mimi, until we're completely out of sight, my target is Champions League football. It's top 4.
Regardless of how we get it, the end will justify the means. If it means getting out, going all the way in the Europa League to Bebe Europa, so be it. If it means we qualify for the top 4, bora tu tuko ndani ya Champions League come next season.
No. I'm glad you made that distinction, because my priority as an Arsenal fan, and should be yours as well, should be every Arsenal fan's, is to make the Champions League from league positions.
Yes.
The Europa League should be nothing but the cherry on top of that nice Champions League cake.
Yeah.
Because we want the European trophy, Yes. Arteta told Willian we're going to win the Champions League in 3 years. I think it would be a good step to win the first European trophy along the way.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it like Chelsea, shinde Champions League, alafu ndo shinde zile ndogo ndogo.
Yeah.
You get?
Yeah, I get it.
So I think it would be a good habit to go and win the Europa League. I don't see why we can't.
Yeah.
I think we have more than enough to do it. There's going to be some tough teams dropping in from the Champions League. There's already tough teams we're going to have to face that are already in the Europa League, like Tottenham and them. So yeah, man, it's Champions League for me. Top 4. I don't care if it's 4th or 3rd. I don't care if we're top 4 with -1 goal difference or +1 goal. I don't give a crap. Bora tumeingia, squeeze kwa mat.
Yeah, Champions League. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Let me ask you a hard one. Do you think Arteta said Arsenal, or rather Willian reported that Arteta told him that Arteta wants to win the Champions League in 3 years. Do you think we can win the Champions League in 3 years, or the Premier League in 3 years?
In 3 years, that should be the target. I genuinely believe Arteta can win the league in 3 years. The thing is, when you consider the massive job he's had at hand, from changing administration, from changing head of football, Raul Sanllehi, from the COVID disruption to facing the players, the teams that we faced so far in his short career, most of them have been Man City and Liverpool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, we faced 21% of the teams that he's faced have been Man City and Liverpool. As in for us to have changed so much, and for him to come and really latched on to the values of our club, and to remind Arsenal players that this is a massive club to play for, and you need to do this, and this to play for this club.
Yeah.
I think that's exactly what you want in your manager, bro. I think there's a lot of players, there's a lot of rival fans that are looking at us with a bit of jealousy, because they know that if their players had this manager, he'd win the league with them. Ian Wright said it, and I genuinely believe if Arteta had that Chelsea squad, atasumbua kina watu. I genuinely believe that. Yeah. But now, what will be the critical factor, right? is the amount of spending. Now, what gives me a bit of comfort is like Josh Kroenke said last season, be excited. We went and signed Pepe for 72 million. So they went and out of pocket they went and did that. And then they with the Thomas Partey deal, they went and splashed 45.4 million pounds and 27 million pounds. And this is out of pocket, this is actual expenditure from the owners. So if they continue with this trend, no matter how they finance it, through loans or whatever, if they continue to finance Arteta's ambitions, then I think they're going to be onto something. And the thing is, what makes me think they would is because they have a new manager, a new head coach for one of their NFL teams. And they backed him. I think it's St. Louis, now LA Rams, yeah. So they have a new coach, and I think it's because they believe in him that they went and backed him the way they did. And it's a similar way in how they believe in Arteta. I think because they believe in him, because they can see the change that he's bringing, they're like, yeah, I'm comfortable in giving you this amount of money because I think it's a risk worth taking. When you think about the owners of United, for example, they go and spend 80 million on Maguire. Alafu mjamaa, he's the cause of all the problems. They spend 50 million pounds on a right back who can only defend. It's like they needed to add another 50 million for the attacking option.
Yeah.
For the wajua ukinunua gari wapata ile first option, second option. First option inakuja full options, ndio? Unapata leather seats, unapata kila kitu, TV ndani. Sasa ukipata zile
top notch high-end.
Exactly. Yeah. So when a manager is not spending the money well and the results aren't matching the expenditure, of course, as an owner, you think to yourself, you doubt. Remember when they signed Bruno Fernandes? Before they signed him, there was a period of dilly-dallying. And the reports came out that saying that the United board didn't believe that he was worth 80 million, so they kept negotiating. And of course, all clubs have to do their due diligence and get the most money out, the most value out of a deal, right? But after spending 80 million, you don't want to go and spend another 80 million. By the way, hayuko hivyo, yani ni mzuri, si mbaya, lakini exactly. So I think I'm hopeful that these guys are going to spend, and you're seeing now we're being linked with players in January. Fabrizio Romano has already started reporting. AFC Bell, I trust them.
Yeah.
Indicala bro has 312k followers on Twitter.
Yeah.
So it's not just some page. It's not just some dumb page. Exactly. So hopefully this is the start of great things, man.
I'm hoping for that. I just, I hope Arteta figures out this shit before January, because I know in January maybe you'll get a Simawa, but no, I just don't want to be in a terrible 2 months now, because it's gonna be November. But
and there's a lot of games. There's a lot of games now in Jan, bro.
A plethora of games. So like, I hope to get our shit correct, because if we don't, there'll be so many else in between, because these games need mob sana. I'm not ready for so such else. I'm not ready. I've already suffered 4 already. That's enough.
Yeah.
All right. I don't think I have anything else to talk about Arsenal that I've not covered yet. So yeah, I'll just thank you, man, for coming through. And I wanted to ask you something different from Arsenal. What was that?
Did it have something to do with international break? Did it have something to do with football?
All right, like Liverpool, because I really touched on Liverpool when they were getting so many injuries and this corona whatever virus, and the guys are being stretched out. Teams like Liverpool, do you think like they can defend the Premier League title? Do you think they can? Because there's still the option of strengthening in January.
Yeah, there is still the option of strengthening in January, but alafu ukumbuke bado kuna AFCON Jan-Feb. Mo Salah, Naby Keita, Joel Matip, Sadio Mane. Wote wanaenda.
It was moved.
It was moved to when?
Yeah. To 2022.
So why are people playing AFCON qualifiers?
I don't get it. They will qualify and then Wakaya January 2022.
Really? AFCON
Yeah.
postponed? Abu, can I confirm this? I literally have my laptop out.
Yeah.
AFCON 2021. Let's see. They're just showing the qualifiers. I can't see any of the games. Obviously, they're not going to show any of the games.
I'm sharing the screen right now, so let me just Google it.
Yeah. Because we were actually talking about it with a colleague of mine. I'm sure you know Eric Njiru. Yeah. When Kenya played Comoros yesterday, we were talking about it at the studio.
Mm-hmm.
So we were. He didn't mention if there was going to be any postponement.
Yeah, it was postponed. Let me see that for you.
Please confirm that for me, because that's going to be a massive difference for Liverpool.
Yeah, I actually thought also the same. I was thinking it's going to be played in January next year, and then I was like, whoa, it's actually not going to happen in January. It's going to happen it's not going to happen in 2021. It's going to happen in 2022.
I mean, I hope for the sake of all the players that are going to take part and all the clubs that are going to have their players out, we might lose Aubameyang and Pepe, for example. You know what I mean? So and Mohamed El Neni as well. So
we're going to have those guys.
And Thomas Partey. Imagine losing Thomas Partey as well.
Can you see the screen?
You know what? Let me just open the same page that you have on right now. Wikipedia, Sindel.
Yeah, Wikipedia.
Yeah, okay.
On June 30th, 2020, CAF moved the tournament for the third time to January 2022, following the effects of COVID-19.
Okay, that's fantastic. Okay, that's actually quite... yeah, okay, no. Okay, wait, what? These are the qualifications. Wait, I opened the wrong page.
If you look at the qualifications, they're going all the way to 30th March next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, I can see that. You're right. Confederation scheduled to be hosted by Cameroon. Originally scheduled to be played in June and July 2021, but CAF announced, okay, fair. That's fantastic. Well, regardless of the fact, right?
Yeah.
The schedule, especially now we're coming up to the schedule now, it's going to be hectic, and you're going to see these players dropping like flies, not just because of COVID or whatever. No, it's because of the fatigue that they're going to deal with.
Yeah.
You're not going to see players pull up with injuries of broken ankles or not. None. That can happen at any point in time. What you're going to see is muscle tears. You're going to see hamstrings, calf strains, back. That kind of shit. So I don't know, man. Liverpool without Van Dijk is going to be very tough. Joel Matip is injury prone. Right now, both Alexander-Arnold and Robertson, they're two most creative defenders. I say creative because that's where the goals come from.
Yeah.
They're going to struggle. They're going to struggle. But in the same breath, they have guys like Thiago Alcantara. They have, Diogo Jota. They have Tsimikas that they've signed. So we'll see. And they have James Milner, who's more than capable of holding it down for Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think if you're such a big club, you should protect yourselves from this amount of injuries by continuing to spend the amount of money that you already spent. I mean, you've shown us before that you weren't afraid of spending 75 million, especially in January.
Yeah.
So just go ahead and do it again. I'm not saying go buy another Van Dijk, but buy a capable defender to hold it down until some of these other players come back. So,
All right. Lastly, this one I'm going to ask you because I always want to share this sentiment with someone and just hear their thought of it. Wilfred Zaha, Arsenal.
I take him.
Why have we not done that shit yet? As in,
Unai Emery wanted him over Pepe.
The guy wants to come to Arsenal. What the fuck?
Yeah, man. No, I'll take him. I'll take him because of that chaos factor that I talked to you about. Zaha can be like Pepe in that he'll try 10 dribbles and fail 5. He'd lose the ball 5 times. But in those 5 times that he gets it right, one of them is going to result in either assist or a goal or a chance. He's just a chaotic player, and he's so direct. And in my opinion, he's a better player right now than Nicolas Pepe. Simple as. He's a better player for many reasons. Not only because of his dribbling, not only because of the fact that he's more used to the Premier League than Pepe.
Then
But also because he's faster, stronger, and he can also play as a striker. Yeah, he can also play as a striker.
Yeah.
So if we want to link up, imagine a front three, an African front three, bro. Wilfried Zaha, Nicola Pepe, Aubameyang up top, and then Thomas Partey and El Neni and Granit Xhaka in midfield. That's a strong team.
That's a very strong squad.
That's a very
taking
freaking
on
strong
any team. I dare say, I think with that, you can take on any team in England, if not Europe.
Alafu in January utoe Ceballos uweke Husama Awar. Bro, mina is a ringa mse. I'll be ungovernable. I'll be ungovernable because in each of those positions you have a baller.
A proper baller.
Yeah, proper baller. I hope we sign Zaha at some point, honestly.
I really do too. I hope we do too. You know what? Even for Aouar and whoever we're going to sign in January, I hope we sign him early. It's not like we wait till the last week.
No. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
I think the 21st of January is when they're bringing our first signing of the winter transfer window.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if we even make the announcement that we've signed a player before January.
Do you think Arsenal? Really? Can we do that?
Yeah, I just have a hunch. This is a gut feeling. It's not at Munich on insider information or anything like that. Nah, it's not like that. I just have a hunch because of the rumors that have been coming out and people saying there's advanced negotiations. And the thing is, I know there's a pressing need to sign Husam Aouar because Juve want him. We know Barcelona were interested and even Real Madrid. So the thing is, we need to get that deal over the line as soon as we can.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is that we get the player in January as soon as possible so he can start training with the team and start playing games, because January as well, we have a tough run of games as well. Yeah. So what I'd like to say is just trust in this duo of Arteta and Edu. Because so far, of course, they've done some things a bit difficult in a weird way. Maybe we're looking at it with an eye that's too critical, maybe. But they've done a lot of things right. I don't care if all the players that he's bringing in are freaking Brazilian. Bora wacheze ball. I don't care. Hata kama wangekuwa Wahindi.
Well, wherever they come.
I don't care. Wangekuwa ni Wanyama. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. Bora wacheze ball. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
And you have to say, the signings that Edu has been a strong part of, right, or has had a strong influence on, have been largely good. I think the only ones that have failed, really, and they haven't completely failed, is Willian and David Luiz. That's where there's some question marks.
Yeah.
But if you look at Gabriel Martinelli, Kieran Tierney, what do you call these other guys, man?
Gabriel now.
Gabriel and Thomas Partey. There's more things that they've done right than the things that they've done wrong. Yeah, there's a lot of positives. So it's going to be a long process. So let's just be patient.
All right. Thank you so much, bro, for coming through. I don't think I have anything more to talk about. I think we've totally exhausted it down to the wire. So thank you for coming through. I'll be hoping to see you some other time.
Yeah, man. Hopefully we can get you on the Nearly Footballers podcast as well as soon as possible.
Yeah, organize that. Ready.
So we'll plan around maybe even the North London Derby. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, that would be a vibe.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Thank you so much for having me. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure talking Arsenal with you, but always a pleasure being on your platform as well. And it's great to see the Football Digest moving along, man. It's nice.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you so much. Tuendelee kusonga na hiyo design.
Safi, bro.
Have a good night, bro.
Yeah, take care.
All right.